The walls of Paris held out against the English onslaught. England's King Edward and the Black Prince abandoned the siege. They marched towards Chartres to try their luck at conquering a less formidable target. But before they could attack, a violent storm hit the army. Killing 1,000 English soldiers in a tempest of hail and freezing winds. To Edward, this Black Monday disaster seemed like divine retribution. A sign that it was time to stop waging war and make peace with France's King Jean. But even as peace between kings was reached, the people of France were still living in bloodshed and turmoil. Between 1358 and 1370, France was in chaos. Peasant uprisings, rampaging bands of mercenaries, and civil war ravaged the country. Peasants rose in rebellion, killing their lords and wreaking havoc. Mercenary bands also roamed the land. Known as routiers, they had once been hired by the English to fight against the French, but were cut loose when peace was reached. They systematically ravaged and pillaged towns across France. And with King Jean prisoner in England, his son Charles the Dauphin faced homegrown attacks on his rule by powerful French lords, beset from all sides. The Dauphin's forces had to regain control over their own country. Having only recently been crowned King of France, Charles V dispatched his army to the French-held village of Évreux to forge order from chaos. From here, the army would move to extinguish three major threats. Bands of roving mercenaries harrying the countryside, a peasant uprising, and attacks from a rival for the French crown, Charles of Navarre. The French army would start by reclaiming the rebel-held villages of Cocherel, Jouy, and Croissy.
Ordine tenequitamus. Cavale. Comprendo. Parade pour Labourard. Labour Spérance. Parade pour venir. On a six. Quoi d'abord? Coursor, qu'une grande course. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Quaid, mais. Mandemans, colonnes. Pour la parade pour venir. Camino. Que demandes? Si voleis. Si.
As the French army struggled to regain control of the countryside, they were struck by a band of English routiers. These mercenaries had been cut loose by the English army and were plundering the countryside in order to make a living.
Attention. Es facile, cavalier. Labour, si, bene. Qued, mais, cose sur Mandesqued. Vado laburar. Si sommes, c'est combateria. Veillons, l'inimi! Parat porvenir! Spigo! Si, bene!
The French forces eliminated the routier attack, but more were still raiding the countryside in search of provisions and riches. The routier demanded payment from the French, or they would continue their horrifying raids.
Parat porvenir! Sito! Io ma sono la cosa.
Orchestre! Vassal!
Omes, preparate!
Civolier!
Lanchier parat! Parat? Bene, bene. Simo von vale. Vale, Crito von sit.
Cisomes. Cose sera massona. Labour speranz. Vado laburar. Parat pour laburar. Io ma sono la qued me. Vado capere. Qued labour? Io ma sono la cosa.
Odite.
Felice et beate. Me plect. Benefect. Cisomes. Colones. Parat. Returno parat pour laburar. Vado laburar. Mandesqued. Buona sial pour...
Parate, ambulance.
Cisomes.
Audite, si, comprendo. Come
Parate, intendo. Archier parat. Lanchier parat.
Mandesqued. Cose sera massona. Me plect.
Intendo. Sagitaina. L'orchestre forza! Assunto!
Qued labour? Sito, six. Sito. Parat pour laburar. Io ma sono la labour speranz. Vado labour. Qued me. Cose sera parat porvenir. Cose sera mandesqued. Parat porvenir. Io ma sono la qued labour. Seco materia. Me plect.
Attention, orchestre!
Benefect.
Lanches, sigeme. Parat, porvenir. Quelle.
La qued oraga. Labour speranz. Tuts audite. Vado laburar.
Quelle labour.
Cisomes.
Arco parat.
Escolte bene.
Me.
Anos la carna.
Sagitaina.
Parat pour
Arco
laburar.
parat.
Qued me. Io ma sono la cose.
Archier parat. Labour spérance. Arquière parate. Tout parier être prêt. Lanquier. Préparate. Arquière. In avant.
Ordine tel
Bene.
civiliers.
Clément.
Labour Speranza. Buon lavoro.
Attention, novos ordines. Second mandement. Est facile.
Parade pour la bourrare. Posez sur Amazon.
Tourna.
Quedme. Returno con materia.
Lanquier parate.
Tisomes. Vado la bourrare.
Dolmenien, pace move. Ordine tenens.
Présentez la caisse.
Ici. En linea equites. Parate equites. Equites football.
Mandesqued. Una sial pour la batteria.
Arquière parate.
Vale.
Parates, servicier.
Equites attendent ici. Ok.
Quémande.
Si comprendo.
In taking the village of Jouy, the French army was closer to stemming the peasant rebellion and regaining control.
Sagittaina. Quémande.
Tisomes. Morvo. Colonnes, paratis, mauvais colonnes.
Parate. Tourna. Hommes, préparate.
The central monastery town of Cocherel would continue to send out rebel attack parties to weaken the French army.
Facile, cavalier. Come montes.
Lanquier parate. Préparate, medio. Sagittaina.
Mandesqued. Ici va tost. Io ma sono la cose.
Rompe. Labour Speranza. Cos'è sarà massona? Non desqued. Vado la burra. Arco parate. Quémandes.
Vale.
Parate. Allons-y.
Me plect.
Vale. Lanquier in movement. Tourna.
Parade pour la bourrare. Cos'è sur Amazon.
Quémandes. Odite. Obedio. Sagittaina. Arco parate.
Rompe. Lanquier parate.
Audite, milites.
The village of Croissy, rich in gold deposits, was a crucial town for the French to reclaim.
In avant, servientes.
Vale. Perce tourna.
Quedabour. Movenski. Et Chilimam demande. Dams de retourna.
Arquière parate.
Parade pour venir. Vado labura. Parat pour labura. Io mason.
Toutes unités.
Cose sera massona.
Fini cette béate.
The French army defeated the rebels at Croissy and took control of the gold-rich village. The central monastery town of Cocherel was still under the control of rebel peasants. The French army would have to take it before they could launch an assault on Charles of Navarre.
Tankier parade.
Moment ici,
Tourment. Tankier parade.
Ordine. Si, comprendo.
Parade pour venir.
Parier comme préto.
Equites attendentisi.
Signe, Fredo.
Pace mo...
Préparate, arquet.
Ecce li mandement.
Tankier parade. Hommes, préparate. Tourment.
La bourse Pérance.
Dolme bien. Pace mauvais.
Tankier parade. Vale. Tankier parade.
Parates servientes si est. Arco parade. Arquier parade.
Tourment.
Attention. Novos secundmandement.
Odit. Sagitaina. Sagitaina. Tourment. Tankier parade.
Est facile, cavalier.
Parate.
Attention. Novos ordines. Commemondes.
Arco parade.
Tankier sauf.
Parates servientes.
Dolme bien. Equites. In avant. Modest.
Presentez.
Est facile.
The French discovered the Routier hidden camp and could put an end to the English raids if they could destroy the camp.
Somes.
Arquier parade.
Vado laburar. Qued labor. Cose sera massona.
Tankier parade.
Qued me. Vado laburar.
Sagittaire.
With the Routier camp destroyed, mercenary attacks were no longer a threat.
Hommes, préparate. Pénies, serviette. Parate, arquière. Audite. Ambulance. Parate, ambulance.
Vale.
Colones in avant, colones. Retorno con materia.
Audite, in avant, serviettes. Hommes, allons-y. Pénies, serviettes. Au medio. Parate. Entendo.
Quelli.
Parate, serviettes. In avant, serviettes. Bene, bene. Pénies, serviettes. Allons-y. Sagitas misas. Hommes, preparate. Audience. Entendo. Ambulance. In avant, serviettes. Restez ici! Pénies, serviettes. Sieste.
The French army took control of the rebel villages, and the peasant uprising was subdued. To keep control over the region, they would need to defend its center of influence, the monastery at Cocherel. Northeast of Cocherel, Charles of Navarre's army had established a fortified camp. The King of Navarre sought to make himself ruler of France as well. He intended to press his claim by destroying the newly arrived royal forces.
Dictes vos convent en la voie. Non soyons, si le ferait coup.
Lancière,
Non soyons, jouez.
Archers, lancière en place.
Was euch donc?
Les lancières se me pressent portrait.
Oh yes, Veichi, commence.
Lancière, lancière en place. Compagnon, lance sur feu.
Ayez cure aux commandements. On me faut trahir. Mon arc est prest. Archers, advançons.
Courage, ayez sa tour de guerrier. Ça.
Homme fautrai. Oyez les ordonnances.
Veichi les commandements. Un jambert,
Lancière, gardez votre lancière.
Dictes vos
Où faut-il faire? Au passe, compagnon.
Archers, oyez les commandements. Obéissez aux commandements.
Non soyons, mettons-nous en la voie, fratresse. Pour vous servir.
Preste portrait.
Lancière. Oil, Kартах. Lancière en place. Compagnon.
Comme il vous plaira. Dicte me mettre à la courage, lancière.
En ordre.
Compagnon, arc est prêt.
Dictes vos commandements.
Allons,
Archers,
compagnon, lance. Quoi faut-il faire?
dicte-moi mon Versailles.
Votre
Preste portrait. De vers où faut-il archer?
quoi faut-il faire?
Mon arc est prest.
Bien vos oreilles.
Compagnon,
Dictes vos commandements.
Veichi les commandements. Si comme le volet.
Lancière. À votre ordonnance. La lance presse.
Puisse de vos servir.
Voyez, Veichi commandements. Venez-vous, et c'est des Spartans. Ayez cure aux commandements.
Was euch donc?
De vers ul foltilt archier, eyet skur, un jumper, poit na fol. Accostrez-vous pour despartir. Compagnon, ayez bien cure. Puer apparmei. Vectons-nous à la voie, bien brillamment. Un jumper, poit na fol. Que ferais-je donc? J'obtiens faire. Mettons-nous à la voie bien brillamment. Puer apparmei.
Allons, Preist.
Oyet, veicin, commandement, vedesus, et si despartos. Obéis au commandement. Que ferais-je donc? J'obtiens faire.
Vaiet mue bezweni. Oil, sitost.
Veicin, les comment accostrez-vous pour despartir.
Pushing up the hillside, the French discovered Charles of Navarre's camp. His front line had the high ground and was made up entirely of archers. The French would have to think carefully about how to approach the stronghold. The French army had repelled Charles of Navarre, stemmed the revolt, and held back the raids of the routiers. In the struggle for control over France's lands, the king still clung to power. A war horse was no ordinary horse. In battle, it was a knight's comrade in arms. By nature, horses are prey animals, but the war horse had to become a predator. They had to be aggressive and fearless, to charge enemy lines and to trample anyone in their way. To achieve this, they were specially bred and highly trained to fight, to lash out with their hooves on command. This meant war horses were expensive, and so conveyed high status.
War horses were incredibly strong and powerful, but they were also vulnerable. This is a really big target, and it's much easier to shoot a horse than it is to hit its rider. So just as men wore armor, horses wore armor too.
A knight didn't ride his war horse on the road to battle. It was far too valuable. Instead, they were led by the knight's groom. A knight would take multiple war horses on campaign, as he would need to change to a fresh horse several times during battle. Once geared up, the knight, his horse, and his weapons became a highly effective system.
The heavy cavalry lance had a small ring called a graper, and this locks into my arm, forming a hard linkage, so that the lance can't shoot backwards on impact.
The war saddle was also crucial. With its high back, it locked the rider to the horse.
This means with the graper and the saddle, horse, man, and weapon are all locked together to create one giant horse-powered projectile.
The main purpose of heavy cavalry was to charge straight into the enemy and smash through their lines. The impact charge crashed into an enemy with terrifying force. It required horses with exceptional courage and power.